the Shark, it can make it a little bit more difficult to get value out of that.
It does mean, though, that Citadel Gaming are going to get a one-sided rocket. So they're going to have one-sided BRB, but also one-sided Cosmic Yacht.
Missed out on Guangzhou, but they're heading to Atlanta. And their seed and their cash prize will be determined right here.
Citadel Gaming, hold on a minute. We're rolling out triple Vanguard, triple Strategist. Nevix gonna go for a Strange Portal, but there's no one who's really vulnerable outside of that Ultron for you to be able to collapse onto. It does mean, though, that VIRTUS.PRO have been able to seat themselves onto the objective, as we can see Tanuki on the outside looking for a target to pick off.
Yeah, Tanuki just doing their best to evade right now and stall the capture of this point. Actually, 3-2-1 for Citadel here, so they still have a Phoenix coming through from Melio. Ken and Alex are going to be these evasive strategists, but that early pick-off onto Ken meant a huge amount of staying power from Citadel was already taken away. Close to a first cap here, RVP, but they're unable to fully secure it. Melio brought back by the BRB. Time to re-enter now. With the flames of the Phoenix behind them, VIRTUS.PRO get the first cap.
Yeah, VIRTUS.PRO get the first cap and potentially the first ultimate too. Given the fact that SparkR is so close to Dance of the Butterflies, it's going to be up to Alex to race to Rage of Ultron and provide the sustainability for Citadel to live it.
All right, Fire looking for the entry here of Enzo. Doesn't want to actually exchange fire just yet. Just wondering where Citadel are going to be coming from. It's all about that wraparound and collapse. Tanuki taken down by Finnsi. Sentient seized and destroyed. SparkR notes out Melio. Coming in close with the Dance of the Butterflies between Ken and Melio. There's no capacity for patty cake, and so the patty cake is crushed.
Yeah, VIRTUS.PRO very quickly pulling at the threads of Citadel Gaming's angle so that the dive is never able to group up and pick one specific target, which means that the dive has been somewhat abandoned. Tanuki is going to go on to counter Psylocke measures instead. Over to that Winter Soldier. If VIRTUS.PRO try and play aggressive and overextend into Citadel space once more, they'll get punished for it because of the CC.
All right, SparkR once again noting the approach here of Citadel Gaming. They're finally coming up towards some of these. Tanuki on the Winter Soldier, certainly a newer look. It's Alex around the back with the Rage of Ultron. Enzo is mostly avoided when using that Feast of the Abyss, and so VIRTUS.PRO seem unscathed by the two ultimates invested. Enzo's disengagement, not going to be pretty. Finnsi thinks that it actually fully uggers, actually. Polly taken off the map. No chance given for a re-engagement. There will be a quick re-engage coming through from the side of Sypeh with the Eternal Bond, making sure that VIRTUS.PRO continue to have all the space they need on the point there. Touch more as well. Citadel play around the outside with the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier. There's no means to take that one down quickly. But what about a multitude of stuns? First, you look at the pretty woman, and then you gaze into the abyss itself. The Eye of Agamotto opens, and the door for Citadel Gaming is surely closed. Alex's healing remains, yes, but he should be easily chased on down. Sypeh's been found around the back. Enzo found exactly the right moment as Melio gets in close, starts to stack up melee. Sparks and VIRTUS.PRO find it turned upon them.
Citadel will finally be able to find the point flip with Polly as well running into VIRTUS.PRO spawns to just deter Dridro from being able to get into position and provide primary healing coming on through from the Joyful Splash. We could well see Citadel with control of these angles now turn this from 0 to 100% as long as they can scout out the rotation of both the Psylocke and the Venom. Spark of the Dance of the Butterflies finds Enzo, who holds the angle and pushes him back, and we can see now Alex just waiting for that Rage of Ultron for when VIRTUS.PRO get aggressive and can't disengage.
Unidirectional push forces out the healing prowess of the Rage of Ultron, but VP, the disengage is fairly clean here. It means that Alex is going to have a little bit of space to work with up on the high ground, but Tanuki's too far away to really have an impact on this fight. They try to go in for the freedom charge, a little bit of additional sustainability. Tanuki and Finnsi walk away with their lives intact for now. An attempted eat, I don't think it's going to come on through instead. Dridro once again prioritizing getting healing out on the remainder of the team. Enzo gets it done once more. The Feast of the Abyss is an absolute all-you-can-eat buffet of bear meat.
Freedom charge, though, from Polly was exhausted, making sure that SparkR's Dance of the Butterflies didn't take Tanuki down. Tanuki, with the Kraken Impact, is going to hold a big win condition for Citadel Gaming coming into this next fight. They don't have a defensive now other than the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier against this Galactic Legend coming on through from Phi. Sypeh with the Eternal Bond too just has all of that sustainability to let VIRTUS.PRO take the fight over to the objective itself.
Fight on the objective. VIRTUS.PRO would certainly enjoy that. But It's going to be a Feast of Abyss to open up here from Nevix. Tanuki tries to dodge away, utilizing the Kraken impact. Prioritizes with Captain America. Can we try and chase down Finnsi? The Collingwood are almost finished. In the last second, Tanuki gets it done. And I've to play with 5 noted. Can't dodge away. Goes back into all the healing offered by Sypeh and turns it around themselves. Out comes the Galactic Legend. Catches Alex with no healing. Looks towards the sky. Tanuki's up there waiting shyly, and Enzo's elsewhere here. The Galactic Legend easily tears through Symbiotic Flesh as Polly dodges on off to get themselves a quick heal. VIRTUS.PRO back in control, and overtime is ticking. A return here, I believe, from Alex, having used the portal, and Finnsi as well. So all of the reinforcements are going to be coming through in no time at all. Tanuki down and Ken as well. Is there going to be enough healing here for Citadel? I don't think they really have the health ball to try and make this one work.
Potentially they can turn it with Feast of the Abyss. SparkR thinks that it's still winnable, maybe for Citadel. And out comes the Dance of the Butterflies. Feast does mean that Enzo will be able to live, but that is not going to give any other sustainability to his team. Citadel Gaming, the pick coming in on Alex before Rage of Ultron could be built up with that Galactic Legend. What this composition, they would have been able to keep much more of a track on both the Psylocke and the Starlord. It got to the point where VIRTUS.PRO just had so much point percentage ahead of Citadel Gaming. It really was just a matter of building up ultimates and snowballing over your opponent. This time around, though, Citadel will continue on the composition they finished with. So we've already got that Winter Soldier and Phoenix out on the board, over 50% of their first ultimates. VIRTUS.PRO going to be cut off before they can rotate over to the objective.
All right, already dridro forced down to the ground, could look for a big eat here. Gets more allies than enemies. I believe it's only Enzo in their mouth right now. Could be a fairly easy rescue, and yeah, Tanuki's there with Rotter Stern. Out comes the Feast of the Abyss, an attempt to dodge from Tanuki. Can't quite get out of the way in time. Cellular Corrosion grabs them. Polly towards the back has found Sypeh, and Alex has been resurrected already. An attempted eye of Agamotto will only stun Enzo, but he dropped on the wrong side of the wall, and so follow-up wasn't that easy to get. It's down to SparkR with the dashes of the butterflies to try and make that one work. Alex gets in close and personal, has to dodge the Cellular Corrosion of the Venom. There's so much damage coming through onto the Ultron right now, and Nevix's Dark Predations finally find their man. The Iron Fist is here from Tanuki. Every time he brings it out, he tells me in chat, trust the Iron Fist, and I'm yet to see the results, my guy.
Oh, yeah. I think I trust the Cloak and Dagger landing that blind more. This poor Tanuki is just absolutely detonated. He at least can put some pressure on things like the Starlord up in the sky, but I mean, it's going to be a very short-lived appearance from Iron Fist. Over to the Phoenix, Tanuki goes. Melio onto the Adam too to have Soulbind to walk into this next fight as VIRTUS.PRO have the angles to set up. Nevix is just waiting for the Vanguards to go onto point before he hits the vulnerable back line.
Enzo already got Sypeh as well. Finnsi plays behind the statue of Bast, the Panther God. Rains down damage from above, and the pocket's good from dridro. You can see that Joyful Splash just rolling on through the Freedom Charge on the other side. Polly wants dridro so badly, but a healing pool is left on point to sustain these Vanguards, while a cheeky little eat from dridro is going to be a real difficulty to deal with if you're an Adam Warlock. Well, you know what? It's a little bit easier. If Tanuki comes through from the sky and just sets alight the shark, Tanuki gets in close and personal. The best melee DPS in the game has arrived, and the duelist reigns supreme.
Not just the best melee DPS, but also with a Mantis 12% pocket boost. So every single time those blue arrows are floating above Tanuki's person, his shots are going to be extra lethal. VIRTUS.PRO, though, will rotate so they don't have to deal with all of that incoming damage. They've got the ultimates. They want to go quickly. They don't want to ally Citadel Gaming. A little bit of poke attrition to build up. The Stratus ultimates to counter it. Out comes the Ensong Inferno. Dodges the Eye of Agamotto, and the Soul Resurgence too from Citadel means that everybody who got caught by it is fully alive and healed through.
All right, Fate of both worlds. It's not enough to save Melio. Does have a Cocoon Revival, though, to bring themselves back in an emergency. Waiting for the remainder of the team to say whether or not this one is won. Still going to bring themselves back, though. Knows that this could still be swung either way if VIRTUS.PRO decide to invest. SparkR slain by Tanuki. The frags are coming thick and fast for Tanuki on the Phoenix.
Yeah, but can Melio find value now with the Karmic Revival? It's going to have to be the instant revives upon the activation of the ultimate rather than the 10-second window that accompanies it, given the fact that SparkR and Fi can both track down the Adam's whereabouts and take him out without the res.
Our enemies are here.
Tanuki with a damage boost up close and personal to the Venom. Nice soul bond used there to just distribute the damage amongst Citadel Gaming. No one falls from the mortal coil for now. They shall grip to it with gritted teeth and white knuckles. In comes the dridro. It's
Melio
walking towards the back. Melio's already been taken down, and that cocoon revival's not available. Oh, the other strategists have been taken in. Dridro needs to dodge away quickly, quietly, and best as they can. Out they go with no means of sustaining themselves. Poly uses the freedom charge because they believe it's winnable. Enzo and Poly is a duo. One of the ancient legends of EMEA possibly brought to life before your eyes. Sypeh can come back here with the Eternal Bond. The health pack hasn't respawned yet. It's going to be VirTUS.PRO back in control, but Melio's opened up the portal to return in short order. Gives up their ultimate. Stops the resurrection, but VirTUS.PRO have been absolutely destroyed here on the engagement. It's going to be a mad dash to try and touch. They finally get it done. Out comes the Galactic Legend. The healing behind it comes through from the Eternal Bond. And there's extra damage taken by the Venom. Look, floating above it. Oh, the Ensong Inferno. I don't think it manages to actually touch the ground. Melio's going to come back on the Heller of all things. On the off angle. Fi's taking so much damage. A dance of the butterflies as well. Fi's just catching hit scan poke from everywhere. A shooting gallery set up in favor of Citadel Gaming as the point's still in their control. SparkR hangs out around the back while Finnsi contemplates for usage of a freedom charge. It might be now or never, but given that so much has already been taken, they'll save it for the third point, surely. SparkR gets in with the whooshy finger hold to instantly eviscerate Ken, but Citadel Gaming, they'll walk away with a 1-1.
Oh my goodness. Legend has it that Salah found Poly.
So long.
I mean, Melio too, when he comes back on the Hella of all things as well, it's overtime. VirTUS.PRO's entire attention is focused on the point rather than the surroundings of it, which means that no one's looking at the Hella. Uncontested, yes, the health bars are fairly chunky. She's probably not going to be able to find the actual eliminations, but she's still going to be able to contribute a fair chunk of damage and displace bodies with the Soul Drainer, including that Psylocke. Now, though, we're back over towards that Adam. Citadel Gaming going to be wrapping around the high ground of that point to make it even harder for SparkR and Finnsi to find an inroad.
Poly watches the approach. The freedom charge popped here by Finnsi, dragging VirTUS.PRO forth. Look at those health bars filled with blue. And Alex needs to rebuff them using the raw healing here of the Fate of Both Worlds. A Sonic Seduction counter-strike from Nevix, taking a bunch of damage. As Dridro's ready to go. Oh, Tanuki's got so many sparks. They're just going to instantly nuke the Jeff from orbit. Dridro falling low and can't really find the edge easily. Poly chases them down. Tanuki once again up close and personal. The Ensong Inferno declared. A dodge away from the impact site allows for Fi to be able to slink away into the back lines. Ken managed to find them in the midst of all of that. A rogue Mantis marauding in the back, and well, they found some booty indeed. Quite the prize to grab. The Phoenix Alex brawls on through. The damage of the Luna is not to be underestimated as the Captain Americas charge after each other. A battle for freedom is won by Poly.
I mean, Poly has the upper hand in the fact that he has the Mantis and the Luna Pocket. He's got the Idol Aura. This Captain America, every single heal he absorbs from Alex is gaining 135% efficiency. VirTUS.PRO, we're going to be moving over to the Ammo Frost. We've had enough of the Captain America shenanigans. If Poly gets aggressive, into the Carbon Crush he goes.
Into the Crusher, potentially. Fine, needs a little bit of support over here on this angle, but Tanuki exactly the same. Oh, messes up the disengage. The map knowledge failing temporarily. Couldn't make it through the door. Coming out close and personal. It's going to be a solo race here for Tanuki, but SparkR is more than happy to carve through the offerings given by the perfect human. Adam Warlock simply serves the team up on a silver platter, and SparkR is hungry with cutlery in both hands and a smile on his face.
VirTUS.PRO should be able to deal with the Captain America now as well, because Poly, when he rotates, is going to be about just attention draw. Finnsi's going to have to turn and look at the cap. The rest of the team gets to move forward and put pressure onto either the backline or deal with that dive. It's all about scouting that rotations as Melio has to build up another Comic Revival. Does have the Soulbind though, so Citadel Gaming are going to get aggressive and just move into the space that VirTUS.PRO wanted to hold into, making that backline a little bit safer from the dive. Out comes the Soul Resurgence, damage boost, a Beast of the Abyss is going to be able to find a connection onto a backline potentially. No, but he uses it to dodge the Ensong Inferno connection.
Tanuki coming in close towards Fi here. There's not really... Oh, okay. They just blow each other up with sparks. It happens. Dridro's going to have time to send the Adam Warlock off the map due to the lacking mobility of Melio. And while there may be a few vengeful shots sent from elsewhere, it's down to Alex to try and hold this one down. However, stalling might not be in favor of Citadel right now because they're not in control of the point. VirTUS.PRO is still accruing percentage. But hey, Poly's arrived. The big bad boss is here and he's only got 90 HP, so off he pops.
VIRTUS.PRO are putting Fi over towards the Human Torch too, because they're in control of that space. They're going to be able to stall the approach from Citadel Gaming. The longer they get stalled out in those chokes, the more damage and pressure SparkR can output, and Fi can spam entirely unimpeded as Tanuki has to break every single bit of terrain, understanding that Nevix would be holding up close and personal with the Feast of the Abyss and the Dance of the Butterflies. There's simply so much damage. The Soul Bond was there, but they're still going to lose one of their players. It's the Adam at least, so the Self-Cocoon comes on through, and Citadel forward march with all 6.
Okay, quick disengage here from Citadel. They're going to try and wait out the usage of the Eternal Bond. Tanuki flames above it all, runs down onto Nevix, who easily gets healed on that by the Eternal Bond. Up close and personal again! What a sedation! Spark is here as well. There's so much pressure on the backline right now of Citadel, but the cross heal is working out well. Enzo knows there's no chance for all that healing to come on through, so sustains himself with a Feast of the Abyss. Tanuki getting in closer, melee battle against Captain America. Finnsi knows that it's time to make a mad dash for the health pack. And Citadel Gaming still aren't in control of the point. They flip it eventually, and VIRTUS.PRO now have to make a decision as to whether or not they try and fight this one out. They've still got SparkR in the backline, and Finnsi is there too. But against a triple healer, it can be a little bit difficult to try and convert.
It's winnable.
Season opening. Coming in with the flame cyclones. They want to try and deal. Oh, Melio's just going to burn. Melio is going to burn on top of it all. Just turned to a cinder after resurrecting Polly. Brings back the carry. And the sacrifice is there. Alex is going to reinforce all of this here with a fade of both worlds. And Sypeh's already fallen on down. So as we reach 80% here, Citadel still in control.
Yeah, Citadel putting all of their faith on their Captain America, stalling long enough once again for a portal and a freedom charge and Endsong Inferno to be built up. And it's enough. Melio looks like he's actually just going to try and portal onto VIRTUS.PRO to try and cut off the engagement. Oh, he might go for Sypeh because of the Eternal Bond on the Cloak and Dagger. If he can catch the Eternal Bond as it dashes, that would be huge!
Okay, gonna force out the iframe already and the Terror Cape as well, so I can't be used as a follow. It's just so confusing here. There's no way out for the Cloak and Dagger, but Alex and Ken have already fallen away elsewhere. No resurrection available here for Melio, of course, who's playing on the Doctor Strange instead. Citadel doing it without healing, but Tanuki brought his own to the party. The Endsong Inferno refreshes the health bar. Polly's taken down. 5 fences off the map by Ken! Unreal play! The force physics, the force of nature that is Citadel's backline. Ken is indomitable, Ken is intractable, and Ken is invincible. VIRTUS.PRO gonna try and nom their way out of this one. A quick double strategist ultimate on the point for unlimited sustainability. And dridro knows they can't go for an E because they gotta keep this one contested. VIRTUS.PRO come back as a full team now. They've lost out on dridro and Sypeh. They're playing on borrowed time. Attrition's not in their favor here as Finnsi floats away in Citadel. They force everyone off the point and turn it around on being into T'Challa.
Goodness. What a series! I mean, that was map number 1. Oh my goodness, that was map number 1! Oh, so when we talk about, you know, how good a player Polly is, we pulled up the stats, right? We said this is the damage that he's done, this is the amount of times that he's been picked. It's not just that he brings to the table, it's the call-outs too. Like, the guy is the IGL, he tends to lead the team when it comes to going for the calls of the 3-2-1s. I would gather that he was likely the one as well who called to go for that teleport play onto the Cloak and Dagger. It was either him or Melio. But
I don't think that the Phoenix is a massive part of VIRTUS.PRO's toolkit when you think about the duelist like pools that they run.
yeah, but I think as well the fact that a lot of these fights on Midtown are going to be very linear, especially when it comes to that first main road fight around corner. Phoenix being able to build up as many sparks as she can on all of the stacked players on the side rooms when the walls crumble away.
Right.
That's another reason why you didn't want to let the Phoenix for damage boosted Phoenix is absolutely no joke when it comes to damage output. Spark is going to be, however, damage boosted by the Mantis this time on that Psylocke to try and keep a check of Tanuki and Melio, who are going to be up in the sky. But Tanuki with the Invis is going to have both the Guardian Shield as well as the team up to give him additional armor when he comes to pressure.
Yeah, plenty of means to assuage the incoming pressure. Actually, a mono-directional push here coming through from Fi and SparkR. A 2v1 opted into by Tanuki. It's brave, but is it foolish is the question. Nah, with Polly at your back, you can take any 2v2. Bro is the absolute goat of those.
That was kind of a bait too. Tanuki flushed VirTUS.PRO's two duelists up onto the high ground where Polly was lying in wait to catch them when they disengaged up onto the terrace. And suddenly VirTUS.PRO, without the start and the Psylocke, don't have the means of keeping Citadel at bay. However, the objective is slowly making its way a little bit further through the point, as you do have to respect the damage that Finnsi can output on the ammo.
Map starting to open up a bit, so this is where SparkR and Finnsi can really leverage those off angles. Melio coming up close and personal. Tanuki on the chase. Notes the approach of Fi right here, but into the loving arms of dridro. There's more than enough healing. Remember, the speed boost given over to everyone inside the Soul Resurgence as well is critical for overrunning exposed positions.
Finnsi's going to have Sonic Seduction too. It's going to be a late pick potentially onto Polly, which means the Citadel are going to be able to stall and have another opportunity to take a fight. So far, though, no Doctor Strange portal. Looks like they're going to have faith that they're going to be able to keep the fight stalled long enough for someone to swap over to it when it gets closer to this finish point. Nevix on the roll, going to be giving all of the information to where Citadel Gaming are looking to rotate into the fight. Rage of Ultron comes out, instantly jumped upon with a damage boosted Feast of the Abyss. The Ultron goes so low, but the invisible boundary from Alex saves him. However, it's now off of the point.
Yep, off of the point, which means Enzo rolling on forward, isolating dridro. Escape's not really on the cards for the Mantis. AoE is good. A trio of ultimates used at once. That was quite ambitious there from Enzo, and Fi easily flicks himself away from this. Ken in the back gets himself healed up, but is still under assault from multiple angles as SparkR and Fi continue to maraud through the backline. Sentient Season is just as easily swept away by the mobility of the Captain America. Tanuki is having a lot of trouble getting onto Nevix here, and managing to escape back to their duelist is going to give over a lot of charge. Finnsi's not quite so lucky, though, when it comes to a potential for disengage. The mobility was already gone. Polly found in the back. Nevix surrounded and just going to be torn apart as the piranhas circle in the water.
Yeah, I mean, Melio actually goes over to the Doctor Strange and portals into VirTUS.PRO's back line rather than on the objective so that he can come on through and box them in between both the Doctor Strange damage and the Captain America running directly at them. Tanuki's been able to build up Galactic Legend without VirTUS.PRO building an ultimate up to stop it. They don't have Soul Resurgence in the pocket just yet, but dridro should have it online before Tanuki gets the opportunity to use it. Out comes the Dance of the Butterfly, so they're trying to soak it. The Galactic Legend has to come on through, and Alex, with the invisible boundary, is going to be able to put it on the objective, but they've already lost two and the Strange portal. VirTUS.PRO have the numbers advantage when it drops.
And they have a damage boosted Feast of the Abyss ready to go as well. Nevix in the back manages to take out Alex, but just traded elsewhere. Once again, Polly feels the siren call of the absolutely dastardly stall. Ken's going to opt out of an eat here, instead wanting to come back as quickly as possible to try and get those heals onto Polly. They're going to be all the more necessary, though, with the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, making sure that everybody has so much damage to push on out. Enzo almost already has lost their passive, but gets healed up in no time at all. Nevix stands on business, on the point, needs to be cautious of the Feral Leap, which is surely going to be coming their way soon. But Citadel have so much sustainability. With all three of their strategists back here, they're behind the ambulance, and the Galactic Legends is weaved by Fi. Fee, Fi, Fo, Fum. I smell the blood of Citadel in the water, and I smell an entry into second point.
Oh, VirTUS.PRO, by the skin of their teeth, are able to push it on through off of that Galactic Legend, and Nevix going into the backline and just stalling them out. Now comes the swaps. Melio is going to be moving over to that Phoenix, having the advantage of the Invisible Woman being able to play the off angle and yet again distract VirTUS.PRO. If they try and take a fight on the main route of under subway, they have to open themselves up and their backline to that Phoenix. So you can see Nevix trying to scout out where exactly Melio is going to show up from.
Maybe a soft dive here from Nevix to begin with, trying to make people turn around. The Freedom Charge is good. Great insurance against the Dance of the Butterflies. SparkR double dips, going for an extra duel off the back of a team up given over by the EMEA. Manages to take out Melio here. Don't know if there's any option for a resurrection, not for the side of Citadel. That's only an insurance policy that VirTUS.PRO have access to at the moment. Tanuki dips away, but doesn't really have the HP to try and sustain this one. So close to ultimate, but Citadel Gaming, they're so far away.
Yeah, but Ken with the jab and that primary heal has kept up the Vanguards, who've been taking a little bit of damage and channeling it over to the It's Jeff build, which means that they'll have it up and available as well as Alex's invisible boundary. But VirTUS.PRO are one fight away from taking second with that momentum snowball from the last fight. Out comes the Feast of the Abyss directly into the invisible boundary, but that again forces it off of the objective.
Yeah, so far back with disengagement here for Nevix is unideal, but now Tanuki's got themselves an opening. Undefeatable screams dridro, and it may well be right. The meter end goes wide once again from Enzo, and Nevix holds back multiple members at the doorway, meaning that Enzo doesn't have any help. No help in the back line for Enzo. Citadel Gaming now has to send their squishy members up to try and contest the point, but it seems like Nevix and Finnsi have no designs of even letting them think about that. Not entertaining the notion. Poly falls down, and Melio will stand alone against the Horde.
The strength of the Mantis here is the fact that every single time Nevix uses the Feast of the Abyss, Citadel don't know whether it's damage boosted, which is why Alex is constantly having to respond with the invisible boundary. And it means that VIRTUS.PRO can force the invisible boundary out, and then when that objective gets too close to the finish line, everyone from Citadel is forced to brawl into the face of a damage boosted EMEA. Finnsi has been at maximum charge so often. He's been absolutely melting players. Has got the Sonic Seduction and will continue to open up this fight too. Out comes the Dance of the Butterflies. Spark is just going to use it to force out so many of these ultimates, as Ken has to drop the healing pool and hope that it's enough for his team.
Healing pool given over, and now Ken's going to be in the back line, which means Polly has to roll on forward with a freedom charge to try and attempt to rescue or a flanking maneuver. Fi sees exactly where Ken is and gives him a solo Galactic Legend. Okay, buddy, a little bit rude, I'm not going to lie, but still it clears the area, and Citadel are sent scurrying.
Alex is going to have the BRB to bring one of their players back, but for Citadel Gaming, they don't have a clear win condition. Melio needs to build up the Dance of the Butterflies, but dridro's going to have the Soul Resurgence. Plus, you don't have the angle scouted. You don't know where VIRTUS.PRO are going to be sending the dive. There goes the Cosmic Yacht Amplifier, and there goes the Jeff. Melio's the next target now because they know he's close to the ult, and because they've been able to find one pick, the BRB's already down.
All right, Fi just absolutely pummeling here with these. Melio takes down Sypeh using the Dance of the Butterflies, and we'll get one extra dash here onto SparkR, but look at the pressure being arrayed onto him. Demands the attention of the Jeff to keep themselves healed up. Enzo coming in. What a sedation. No chance for symbiotic resilience here. Is put to sleep and then slept permanently thereafter. SparkR starting to feel it. Starts with Dance of the Butterflies. The music's in his ears, and the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier just eats a bunch of those dashes. Perhaps not the ideal there from Alex, but we have to dive on in it anyway. Enzo's there with a cellular corruption, but Finnsi breaks their sentience underfoot. The high heels pierce through symbiotic armor. An attempted an eat will be delivered by the Jeff the Landshark, but still VIRTUS.PRO have everything they need to try and cut their way through this one. The healing pool is not enough. Spark is not there. Finnsi begins to channel, and it seems like Citadel are scattered.
VIRTUS.PRO's dives were just so well coordinated when we went into third. Citadel never got the opportunity to fully push the attacking team for ends.
Oh, a very close defense here, but VIRTUS.PRO once again complete. Maybe they can batten down.
Bear in mind, Finnsi is going to be there, the mother bear behind her two Vanguard players with the Carbon Crush and Diamond Form CC immunity to stop Polly from finding the pick.
And Sypeh's already been having a lights out game today. We know that the Force Physics is the classic counter to the Wolverine. Tanuki getting up close and personal here to Fire, making sure that the high ground is not hospitable environs for the Doctor themselves. And at the moment, Polly's just leveraging the terror that is in the eyes of Vanguards to stop this from moving forward.
They're trying to funnel VIRTUS.PRO into those side buildings so that Tanuki gets a little bit more space, doesn't have to worry about all of that damage coming his way because of being cut off from visibility, plus getting the spam pressure onto those players below him. But soft dive has to come through first. Enzo and the Venom going lower and lower gets out, and that means that Citadel Gaming have a little bit of a lull before he stabilizes and goes back in.
Yeah, VP re-established their space right here. Maybe Enzo's trying to force out that Carbon Crush to give an opening for Polly to try and work with. Has used of Symbiotic Resilience. A lot of their opportunities have now gone by the wayside. Polly and Tanuki both fall on down, and Ken's trying to cook elsewhere. But they don't really have the numbers to defend the Shark, so Ken is just dogpiled on.
Nevix is going to have Strangling Prison too. Granted, Melio with the CC immunity of Rage of Ultron will be able to dodge it. And they do have Soul Resurgence to try and push forward aggressively. But Tanuki needs to be the thing that comes through with these picks. Supernova, Rage of Ultron is there, emboldens the dive. No more soft dive shenanigans. You can fully go for the hit. But the Doctor Strange fully shields off of that chunk of it. And Strangling Prison catches Jeff before Ken can get away.
Super Resible, Fi's already back in it. Enzo intrudes into the invisible boundary. Polly from far away looks to try and move after that Cosmic Yarn Amplifier. Should be easily burned on through by the ultimate of Tanuki. Static in placements, they do suffer against what Tanuki brings to the table. Good LOS play here from the Human Torch, avoiding most of what Finnsi's bringing. And now Tanuki gets ready to try and activate the dive around the back. Enzo's already softened them on up. They need to get onto dridro right now, but the Soul Resurgence comes out at just the right moment. A quick grab onto the Wolverine. He's sent down for nap time. Fire doesn't get anything off the back of that Eye of Agamotto, but that's because most of their targets have already been eviscerated.
VIRTUS.PRO continue to hold around this first corner. Polly is off of the Wolverine, and Citadel Gaming now are going to look to use Melio on that Punisher and just try and melt down some of these group walls, force VIRTUS.PRO into losing players early off of the damage boost pocket from that Punisher. Build up Final Judgment, build up Fate of both worlds, pop the two of them together and walk forward.
Melio gonna have to break down these walls as you said. That's one of the primary uses of the Punisher up against the group, but Nevix almost already has the Strangling Prison good to go. Could be blocked by the erased shields here that Citadel Gaming have brought to the table. But this constant turning around of Polly cannot be underestimated. Final Judgment in the back pocket here for Melio. Without Polly to defend him, is it really worth investing? Five's been taken down elsewhere. They still think it's winnable for Melio, and so avoids the incoming CC. And Finnsi can't escape into the invisible boundary. A turnaround here from Citadel Gaming. They saw the opening, and they absolutely dug in their claws.
Here's the crucial thing as well for Citadel. That was Mantis, Luna, Punisher. It was not Phoenix or Magneto. They've got the Wombo combo. And it's all going to be about VIRTUS.PRO not getting hit by it. They have to burn the End Song Inferno when it's up in the sky.
Maybe you could bait it out here. Using the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, you know how the Phoenixes react to these particular instances. Tanuki above it all, looked in towards the back line, and the Soul Resurgence is so far away, and Alex has been taken out elsewhere. Finnsi rewarded for their aggression. Fi is in the attacker spawn, and yeah, there's punishment for it. It might be resurrectable. I think they're out of range of the BRB because they were an attacker spawn. Melio around the outside, gonna try and burn through Finnsi. Draws out the adjudicating shotgun, sees the Vanguard's approach, but looks towards the Pretty Woman, and even with the healing, Finnsi's beam is charged up enough with just 15% to carve through Thrank Castle. Even his quest for justice is not stronger than the psionic powers of this X-Man. And VIRTUS.PRO, they'll hold strong.
Oh, what a play. What a setup coming on through from VIRTUS.PRO's Vanguard in that last fight too. Psionic Seduction onto Melio because, you know, he doesn't have Final Judgment for the CC immunity. He has no choice but to try and break LOS of it by hiding behind Ambulance. And wouldn't you know it, that's when the Venom immediately jumps in, tethers up so that the Punisher gets fully slowed and is forced to walk directly into that Emma. Massive plays from VIRTUS.PRO as they just had so much coordination. Being able to hold the space and really also going after that storm, just weakening Citadel Gaming's damage 2 charges from, plus the Trooper's Fist now also applying that Earthbound debuff too. Winter Soldier really is one of the best counterplays to anything flyer-shaped.
Yeah, the grounding from pertaining to voltage kind of go crazy, but it does maybe
Brawl potential. As VIRTUS.PRO going to be starting off in that defense, going to be using that Venom, putting pressure onto Citadel Gaming's approach, and then allowing all of that attention to set up more space for both the Starlord and the Psylocke when SparkR and Fi want to deal the damage.
Okay, Tanuki going to be playing on the Storm here as a single duelist, and now here comes the collapse on the back line. Wow. The Venom, the Star-Lord, and the Captain America. Yeah,
damage boost and Adam letting you just walk forward with Soulbind and establish yourself on point. VIRTUS.PRO now, because they went for that dive on Citadel Gaming's approach, might have lost some major presence on the objective itself, which is really bad for the dive because now they have to go directly into the Emma.
Yep, now they have to try and meet the Emma where she's at. Finnsi's already fallen low. Melio's fallen down, but of course can self-resurrect. And Fi back down again. Means a huge amount of damage is gone. SparkR can't stand up to the justice dispensed by the Adam Warlock. The perfect human takes down an imperfect mutant. And so VIRTUS.PRO, they're going to have to try and make a re-engagement happen here or cede away the entirety of the point. It's going to be Finnsi putting his life on the line for this one and just dodges away. I think may have actually impacted Ratatoska in midair and so just bailed.
So there's your context for the Doctor Strange ban. Because remember, Citadel took the Doctor Strange out of the pool. So they went for a composition, which I don't think is going to continue. I think if they lose one fight, they're probably either just going to use their ultimates or hold off on the ultimates to get the 50% charge. Soulbind into a small room that you fortify with Groot so that VIRTUS.PRO can't find any follow-up from the space created. And then you're still putting pressure on the dive because there's Brawl Tamper now.
What polyulting? That's my cue right now. It might have been deflected by Finnsi off into the stratosphere, because of course you can't decide the direction. Out comes a big eat from dridro, but the follow-up's going to be there to try and take him out there, Thor. And now dridro back on the field, utilizing the BRB, the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier here from VIRTUS.PRO. They are investing so heavily to try and win this first fight, because they need to re-establish their dive angles and control the space. And so it's going to be a main impediment to that, with access to the Carbon Crush, maybe trying to shut down. Oh no, a miss onto SparkR, a great dodge away from the Shinobi, and VIRTUS.PRO are going to be able to lock down these angles now.
Yeah, and they got Melio as well coming on through, so no Karmic Revival cast. Tanuki is likely going to use Hurricane just to put the pressure onto VIRTUS.PRO and maybe force them to have to just peel off the storm, allowing Citadel to walk on forward, because Fire's on that off angle. They know he's there. Polly's been sending damages coming on through from that group, plus the healing direction from dridro gives away the star's position, but Galactic Legend is still going to be able to force Ridiculous regardless.
Finnsi down, unresurrectable. Seems like the BRB was not in range where Finnsi fell on down. Now comes the Galactic Legend looking towards the back. The perfect counter in the form of a Sonic Seduction, but the follow-up isn't there. Even with the pull there after, they just did not have the weaponry to try and look at that range. Melio must have been looking elsewhere.
And they used Soulbind too, which means the Feast of the Abyss and then SparkR with that follow-up might be able to find the picks and make them permanent. This time though, Melio does have that cocoon. He's going to go for the self-res. Everyone was busy looking at Polly! Melio manages to bring back so many people, but he trades his life in the meantime. And dridro sees dollar signs for where everyone got spawned back up, casts the It's Jeff and manages to find the Groot.
Yeah, just drops the healing point. Wait, oh, never mind, actually. I should probably reset.
Sometimes Groot can, you know, come through with those instructions to build up ramps on the other side of the map, and I think, yeah, Polly just doesn't want to stagger himself out. They have to play stack together too, because SparkR of the Dance of the Butterflies is going to be looking to force the invisible boundary early.
I need assistance.
Tanuki, Omega Hurricane in the back pocket, just looking for the ideal time to use it, but is going to be constantly worried about SparkR using the Dance of the Butterflies. Melio already down. No chance for self-revival. Ken instantly loses out on the ultimate. Ruinous for Citadel. That's a huge sustainability tool off the table.
Yeah, I don't know. They used Invis Boundary after Melio had already fallen, and then Ken is so low off of the dash damage that he actually gets caught in the animation before it can get built around him, which means it's a full cancellation, not a 50% reset charge. VIRTUS.PRO still holding onto these angles too, once again going to put pressure onto the Atom, and they find the pick before Soul Resurgence comes through this time.
Oh my goodness, they're just striking so hard, so fast. Citadel are unprepared for this level of aggression. Finnsi has used the Freedom Charge to sustain themselves, but it means that Fire is up here and is feeling real confident to try and take some less than well-insured investigations, just making these engagements so difficult to deal with.
Okay, the Atom is gone. The Torch comes up to the mix. Tanuki now going to be moving on over to get that pocket from the Ultron. But Fi, with the Galactic Legend, is going to be able to keep both of those flyers under pressure. The second that they move away from the rooftops, it's a little bit of a bait to just push the Galactic Legend out early. But unfortunately, Fi's still got all of the movement and space to play off of and finds the picks regardless. Citadel at least made it fast, and they've still got a minute and a half to play with. But so too do VIRTUS.PRO have ultimates. They know that Citadel are going to make a push to the objective with Enza's ultimate, and so they're lying in wait with SparkR and Nevix to combine Feast of the Abyss and Dance of the Butterflies, CC immune from the EMEA.
This is the Abyss coming soon onto the back line. Can they dodge away in time inside of a spawn? And the metallic bulwark given to the other. Nevix going to have trouble disengaging, and even more so while Carbon crushed. Still Nevix has health to try and work with here. The damage is finally given on over. Outside of range of a BRB as well, so it's going to be a long respawn, but a quick return for Nevix.
Tanuki still doesn't have control of the space though, which means that they have to clear the Psylocke before the Human Torch can come into the mix. Out comes Rage of Ultron paired with Sonic Seduction so that Citadel can finally make a move forward, but VIRTUS.PRO just disengaged, and Citadel still have so much distance to go.
And on Finnsi, back is Finnsi. The BRB will serve them here as a dancer. Pushed away. But it does mean that only Tanuki is inside of the range. And so they're going to be a primary victim of that one. In comes the Big E. Enzo waiting. And so too is Melio. Even with the healing pool that dridro had available, is unable to sustain through here. But overtime on the horizon now.
Who's behind? Citadel currently occupied.
It was Fi on the TP. He used his rocket network.
Oh no, someone is still behind. Finnsi's going to be dropping from the rooftops too. Supernova and Meteor Am is going to be what Citadel Gaming have to bank their hopes on to. Cosmic Gun Amplifier comes on through. Tanuki should be able to melt it with the Hurricanes coming in, but he has to make sure that he doesn't get melted himself. Out comes Fate of both worlds from Alex. Manages to keep the Human Torch in play, and Citadel have an opportunity to push second.
Find SparkR on different angles, but SparkR forced away. Tanuki getting so aggressive here. Needed to remove the pressure from the Shinobi. And now it's just going to be down to a Venom on point to try and keep this one alive. A Symbiotic Resilience to give over even more over health to this. It's bought the time for Fi. They need to get up close and personal. The ult has to be massive from Polly, but it doesn't quite connect. The damage boost, the breakpoints, they're not really there. In comes the Venom once again to keep this one contested. Fi getting up close and personal. The Feast of the Abyss is good. Ken's fallen down, and Polly will stand alone up against the world. It's a familiar time for Eric Lenscher as he stood once alone for Mutant Kind. So too will he stand alone for Citadel. A lone tower amongst the ruins. VIRTUS.PRO will prowl.
VIRTUS.PRO just able to hold so close as Citadel spawn on second, makes up for all of the time that they lost on first. With Citadel making that Doctor Strange ban work.
For certain for VIRTUS.PRO though. When they can all move so for Light and Shadow Karma, it could be an imperative here for the survivability of that backline to set up for a dive.
Tanuki too is set up for the counter dive. He's on the Wolverine. Nevix and Finnsi are going to have a rough time of it. As already, Nevix has to be careful that he doesn't feed too much charge over to Enzo. VIRTUS.PRO aren't going to be going for main. They're looking for a dive setup, and Fi's already got an angle on the backline.
Fi reveals himself a little bit of momentary distraction, making space just via annoyance at the moment. Melio is already down to half HP, has to use for live stream to top themselves up. And Fi's not really committing here, forcing someone to come in and try and deal with him. And dridro joining on this angle. They've given enough time for SparkR to get up close, where those Sonic crossbows can really start doing the damage.
Citadel, though, still holding onto that soulbind. The fact that Invis can get the pierce onto everybody that, plus the Guardian Shield AoE, means that Melio can trust his strategists to keep him alive without burning that resource, and takes Finnsi down. Finnsi will get revived with the BRB, and VIRTUS.PRO still have their angles, but Tanuki is just the bodyguard right now, making sure that his backline is kept safe from all of the focus fire.
Yeah, just making it impossible. Look at the move here from Fi, though, going over onto a Phoenix, knowing that accruing these sparks could be the key to turning it around. And while the identification was good, alongside the dance of the butterflies, there just is not the time. Melio forced to just stare into the eyes of their oppressors, and so there's going to be no chance for a revival. Instead, it's going to be about the portal. This is one of the main resource disparities that you were talking about earlier. Bodyblock not going to come on through. Alex sits down on the point, not going to have access to that Luna. Fi's getting in close and personal. Quick cancel, quick kick, and into the side they go. Alex is there with the daggers of the knack to turn it around again, and VIRTUS.PRO didn't even get the first tick out just yet. dridro, an early grab, and that's going to be two enemies spit on out, sacrificing themselves to the privilege of a guaranteed frag. Enzo believes it's winnable, and so a turnaround is imperative. Finnsi dodges away from the incoming damage, and also dodges away from being mind controlled as well. Tanuki can't quite convert, and for Citadel Gaming, this one's over.
Remember, it's Jeff. Getting a pick on Adam doesn't let you go into the cocoon. Melio was so close to Comic and gets caught by the Jeff feed and taken off of the map. And Citadel Gaming's chances of holding on first get taken off of the map alongside it. We're over now to full anti-dive measures. Tanuki on the Namor, Enzo the Hulk to have the Gamma Monstro. As VIRTUS.PRO are already running at Citadel Gaming, trying to hold on to as much space as they possibly can. Split the team by more objective control and more angles for both your Phoenix and your Psylocke Captain America when they want to put the pressure on the backline.
Dealing with that Hulk can be difficult, but dealing with a Feast of the Abyss even more so. Great usage of a Bulwark. Melio once again going to have to contemplate the Cocoon Revive. And inside of a Fate of Both Worlds might find themselves safe here, but still Citadel Gaming having to spend so much to get themselves a touch of stability. SparkR looks above it all and now slashes on in. Wants to try and isolate Ken within the area of effect, but still the sharing out, the democratization of the pain is good for Citadel Gaming. Sypeh draws on through with the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, and dridro gets himself two! Instantly flattened under the biomass of Giganto. The wrath of the Seven Seas made known against the traitorous marine animal that dared to rise on up. Enzo and Polly gonna try and do it as a pair, but they can't quite connect with it. It's just gonna be all about that stall.
It's the stalls that Citadel Gaming can start to regroup. There's one more fight, but they've got the Karmic Revival off at the back of it, and VIRTUS.PRO don't have ultimates right now. Feast of the Abyss potentially to be able to catch onto those revive positions. Melio too has already burned that self-res, so if SparkR can find the pick onto the Adam on the walk up, VIRTUS.PRO are in such a good position to take Central Park.
Finnsi already in towards the back, trying to force out Melio. Knows that Karmic Revival could be absolutely imperative towards this one. And Citadel Gaming got temporary control of the cart, and there's a very angry Hulk that could try and deal with this one. SparkR double dash for a disengage, and Enzo continues to throw out the damage. Polly needs for support in the back, and they're going to focus in all their fire upon Polly, but the healing is there, and the resurrections too. Potentially no Melio slain, and even with one player returned to the fray, it's not going to be enough. Alex has to reinforce. The fate of both worlds decided right here and now as Enzo takes to the battlegrounds. Might well be able to try and interrupt this as Fire looks towards the back. The fate of both worlds is over. The time of the Phoenix has begun. The end song sings around Central Park, and the echo off the ramparts of the castle will sting in the ears of Citadel. Ken is down via Finnsi as Enzo dances forth, but Finsi's already done all that he needs to, and a one-person soulbind is just a trickle of healing, but the trickle's met by a flood of bare blood and bare yells. VIRTUS.PRO take away Central Park.
Polly on the Captain America tries to stall, but you're simply treading water until the rest of your players are no longer present. And that's going to be a 2-1 scoreline for VIRTUS.PRO, who let the Adam Warlock through, but as we saw, had a plan to be able to put it in the ground. That dive was so well formulated. They scouted, they saw the lay of the land, they saw that Citadel were going to stack themselves into those small rooms, the back rooms behind the point, so they could gain the most amount of value from things like the Soulbind, from the AoE heal coming on through from that Angela, provides additional HP to both the Angela and everybody else inside that fight too. So it means that you can sort of actually weave that cooldown with Tanuki on the magic, as well as that Doctor Strange. So we're going to be able to see the chain team up, which means that either strategists can be chained together or vanguards can be chained together. And that, wait a minute, that could be a great combo for an Assassin's Lunge coming on through from an Angela.
Could well be. Going for the instant mugging. There's the purple coming through and the grab counter onto Enzo. Tanuki in the back has already forced on out the soul bond and has gone too far now. So the right clicks from SparkR easily carve through the flesh of the Dark Child. No Eldritch Whirl to save themselves, nor Stepping Disc either. Ken is taken down, and while Citadel Gaming are going to have a rear guard maneuver here to try and grab themselves a first control. Finnsi's already stepped up to the plate, and it's not a huge amount of charge on the beam, but you've still got to worry about how much DPS this EMEA can pump out.
I mean, this Groot is going to be able to find the isolation, the Doctor Strange split from his backline, which means that VIRTUS.PRO will be able to establish themselves onto that point first fully, and now they're going to have so much more space to be able to clear where that magic is going to be coming on from, as Tanuki is going to be relying on a lot of his cooldowns to actually bring him in close enough to start getting the damage done.
All right, Tanuki.
Okay, yeah, no, we're off of it. I was gonna say, there's no way. That's the composition you can keep if you win the first fight. If you lose the first fight, immediate swap. Melio goes over to the Psylocke, Tanuki over to the Phoenix. So the Phoenix is going to have off-angle pressure. Melio is going to have more pressure on the flying component of Phi, who doesn't have that Ultron pocket.
Angelic Descent already used here, and Polly found themselves alone. Enzo was there, yes, but the healing couldn't be brought on over due to walls being erected behind them, blocking off Ken's healing globules from the repair mode of his weapon. Enzo doing his best to dodge out all of the damage here, but Nevix is waiting on the other side. Flush him out and I'll destroy him.
Well, Nevix is going to be taking a little bit of damage too, as well as clearing out where Citadel Gaming could be holding themselves up. Both the Phoenix and the Cell are going to be looking for different angles to peek out from, which means that VIRTUS.PRO have to clear the two of them. And Sunken Inferno is coming real close. Strangling Prison's already in play, and that just sets VIRTUS.PRO up for a full swing. Finnsi with the diamond form is going to get the spinning kick into the Groot walls too. Amplified damage. Citadel have no means of standing up to it.
Oh, Coach Salah needs to already have prepped a speech to get the team back together after this. This is their comfort map. This is their safe space. This is where VIRTUS.PRO is supposed to be weakest. And yet Citadel Gaming are looking like they can't manage to find anything thus far.
Yeah, Citadel go for combos with their ultimates too. It just means that they bleed more economy in the face of the Karmic Revival. Out comes the Soulbind. Finnsi's going to be shutting off all of the space that Enzo looked to create as we head towards overtime with Sonic Suction. And Water Force Physics onto Enzo, which brings him down immediately.
Force Physics and the control, they've just demolished Enzo. There's going to be a quick resurrection, yeah, so Enzo will re-enter the fray, but the remainder of the team can't make it through the absolute barricade. The blockade of Naboo by the Trade Federation has been enforced by Flame Cyclones themselves. Down comes the damage. Amplified by the Seer means that Fire can't stand up to the hit scan pressure of Tanuki, but you know what? The pressure can be alleviated by an invisible boundary drawn up here by Sypeh. A quick peel onto the back line, and Tanuki is noted. Heaven's Descent into the back. Polly gets a little bit bugged there on the descent, actually ends up above it, and so can't quite follow through. This means Tanuki has to throw in even more to try and make this one work. SparkR contemplates potentially self-reviving, but instead is going to call it here. Oh wait, he does self-revive. Not sure if that one was too intelligent.
Yeah, Citadel now though have to play absolutely perfectly. They do have the means to go aggressively first with both the Dance of the Butterflies and the Rage of Ultron, but they do have to bait out that Soulbind, likely with one of those ultimates committed, which means that the dive follow-up has to be absolutely on point. And Fire's already moving on up, using the AoE damage from that torch to clear the angles and figure out where Citadel are.
The BRB is close by to try and reinforce any of these deep dives. That's going to be used by Melio already as Sypeh falls on down elsewhere. The damage is good, and Fi trying to make sure that the disengagement, taking them back to their team might not be ideal there, Polly, but you know what? It's just a friendly delivery from one bro to another.
They're giving them very little space as well to let SparkR build up any form of damage towards another Karmic Revival cast. Fi's actually gone over to the Phoenix now because Citadel Gaming are converging hitboxes when they go for the dive, which means that he might be able to find multiple bodies to be able to stun into that Venom, getting grabbed by something like the Anna. Soul Resurgence means that they'll sustain through the Feast of the Abyss as Miller did not commit his ultimate, and Polly goes down.
Yeah, and the BRB isn't even off cooldown yet because they're fighting so early and so fast. Melio tries to relieve some of the pressure, and overall low. It means even easier times burning them down for the end song Inferno. Finnsi takes down Enzo, but already VIRTUS.PRO, they can't be allowed to flip the point right here. Still, they might have no choice. It's going to be 99%, already halfway towards the cap. Sypeh's got sustainability for days for the remainder of VIRTUS.PRO inside of this one. A dodge away from Tanuki is solidly done as Nevix doesn't get too much off the back of their Feast of the Abyss. The disengagement went so far, and Tanuki tracked it all the way. Enzo's back on the Doctor Strange, as it seems like an off-angle play from Finnsi here is going to be easily blocked on out. The Shield of a Seraphim can't be broken through, so all will escape the Sonic's clutches of the Emma. Blasted away temporarily and into the health pack. Finnsi's got their own sustainability to try and play with. Ken is down to a Rage of Ultron, but Enzo can't get healed in time. 100 charge will just carve through Ultron. Can't afford to show himself to Finnsi. Polly's got no heals to speak of apart from a meager Ultron drone, and with no feet down on the ground, the car can't be contested. The point now in favor of VIRTUS.PRO. SparkR has still got a res to deal with. Polly's back in record time, and Alex is revived by the BRB, so there's still going to be numbers here for Citadel, but VIRTUS.PRO still have a second phase to this fight.
SparkR's got the Karmic Revival. He's entirely untouchable. You can see him just there behind both of his two other strategists. Out comes the Ansong Inferno onto the backline, onto the Atom. Is it enough? Can they take SparkR down before Karmic Revival comes on through? There's no follow-up. Melio was already down on the Psylocke, which means that the Atom sustains, and VIRTUS.PRO continue their presence on the objective to take Frozen Airfield. And we go now to Super Soldier Factory.
See, that's the weakness of these compositions. When you're forced...
Which is why so often against this composition, we see teams literally just make a play to ignore the dive and send something like a Vanguard all the way to the objective and force a pivot.
Citadel Gaming sticking to their guns here. VIRTUS.PRO, they have an advantage to begin with. The Karmic Revival might be everything.
Fi gets a little bit of AoE read, knows that Citadel Gaming are looking for a play. It comes down to the Butterflies and Feast of the Abyss at the same time. SparkR does go down, but he's still got the cocoon. And that means that he's just going to bring himself right back into this fight because VIRTUS.PRO, they're going to be able to establish presence on the objective with the EMEA and establish dominance with a huge carbon crush onto Enzo, forcing Ken to ult.
Yeah, Tanuki was very far away from a BRB as well. Vasia gets a massive chunk bitten out of it by the Venom. Still no early play here. Down comes the ribbon. The angelic descent of Angela into the back line. It seems like there's not going to be too much gained off the back of it, though, by Polly. Alex inside of the invisible boundary can't be forced to leave. Would be slowed on the outside as they try to disengage, but they are brought back by the battle recall beacon. Polly drops one off the map. I believe that was SparkR. Not sure if there's going to be any chance for a cocooned revival.
No, you can already see the life ticking down. If he goes off of the map, he can't self-res. Finnsi, though, still holding his position, has the Aegis that he can dance in and out of, that Boki and Nevix can dance in and out of to sustain the pressure coming on through. The Diamond Pull means he gets the damage reduction to disengage back to his team and stabilize, and VIRTUS.PRO still aren't allowing Citadel Gaming the full cap.
The rare Vanguard patty cake coming on through. Nevix finally makes their engagement known. Out comes the potential knockdown, but Nevix quickly able to swing on away. Melio in the back has already forced out plenty of resources, utilizing that dance of the Butterflies, but now it's all down to the supernova of Fi to try and make something happen as we're getting close and personal. The End Song Inferno rises above it all, and the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier is going to make sure that it's even more deadly, but on the Vanguards, they can't quite cut through the damage. Ken's fallen down and can't res themselves. Sypeh traded on the other side of her Age of Ultron is declared. All of the array damage is more than enough. And now Citadel are going to have to do it without any healing whatsoever. Polly's fallen on down. And surely Enzo's soon to join them. Ken's going to come on back now with a portal to try and stop this first contest and make sure they continue to accrue percentage. And that means Alex has made the emergency swap onto the Invisible Woman, pulls Finnsi through the portal, never to be seen again from whence he came. Nevix down into the pit, and it seems like there's not going to be a knockdown. Once again, you can't convert on this one, and SparkR has gone for a resurrection. VIRTUS.PRO believe that this is their chance, this is their moment, this is their opening, and a double up on the ultimates is certainly a hearkening to such dastardly aims.
Polly's not giving them any point flips. Citadel Gaming, at the beginning of that fight, were able to find the point control. The longer this goes, the more point percentage they accrue. The Ember ultimate gets zoned away by Polly with the shield in this boundary, slows the Angela down. He uses the Assassin's Lunge to try and get back to his team, and Melio picks Fi in the meantime.
No resurrection available this time. Now the dance for Butterfly is getting a patty cake coming on through, the extra health as well. Coming up close and personal, Tanuki took the ultimate risk and paid the ultimate price for it. Finnsi with a fully charged beam just carves through all comers, and that's going to be VIRTUS.PRO finally flipping at 82%.
VIRTUS.PRO, they're down Soulbind, they're down Karmic Revival, they're down every single one of their ultimates. It's going to be up to Nevix to try and slow down Citadel Gaming's approach because they've got a wombo combo. Heaven's Retribution combined with End Song Inferno. It's going to be up to VIRTUS.PRO to try and burn this Phoenix ultimate before it comes through.
Fi has to be careful, but remember, does have an advantage due to that damage boost that is available. Nevix chasing after their counterpart here, looking towards the back. The axes of Icar's drawn on out, giving over health to everyone who wants to come in and play. They're tethered to the pole, and then the nuke gets dropped from downtown for SparkR. This one's going to have to be calling it because, of course, it's only 55% towards the resurrection. Citadel Gaming back in control.
Yeah, Melio just tracks down SparkR to see whether or not he is going to go for that revive, and Citadel with the wombo combo find the flip. The fact as well that they were just coming through with Enzo getting the Tether onto so many players, able to force VIRTUS.PRO to back off of the point, which meant that the flip came through before Heaven's Retribution landed. And once again, he goes in, disrupts the backline's engagement, does enough damage to build up the Feast of the Abyss. And we get to see this time Fi's End Song Inferno looking to target down Ken, who simply runs away with the shift.
And then Ken's like, okay, this is over. Bye.
It's a fast fight. There's a reason they make it a fast fight. It's so that they can hold on to the ultimate advantage and they don't give VIRTUS.PRO point percentage. You can't afford to give a triple strategist Adam composition more point percentage off of longer fights. So we've got Feast of the Abyss. We're going to have the damage boost coming through from Cosmic Yarn Amplifier. It's at 99% too. So for Citadel, they can literally just find the eliminations, force SparkR to res, and take the objective.
The VIRTUS.PRO, the most dangerous fight, has passed in towards the back. The Cosmic Yarn Amplifier should be easy to carve through the health bars, but the damage is shared out once again. Great use of a Soul Bond coming through from SparkR here, who's still ready to resurrect. Actually going to be used preemptively here. SparkR ready for anyone to fall on down. If they get taken down into the abyss, it's not going to be quite as lucky. Fire dragged on through, coming in close and personal. Melio starts to channel the dance of the butterflies inside the Guardian Shield and the invisible boundary. There's more than enough healing. Tanuki's just going to be chased into it here. There are no good options. Finnsi with the dags of Danak shepherds them into the loving arms of fire, who just burns them to a cinder. Only Ash remains where once the Citadel stood. And for Alex, they're going to have to try and force in all of the healing. A block onto the healing given by the Rage of Ultron. Finnsi's got heads-up play. The Eye of Agamotto is open, and he stares into 16,401 futures and finds the one where VIRTUS.PRO can reign supreme, blocking off incoming damage. Oh my goodness, movement of the Super Soldier factory as well might block off some of the engagements. Out comes the Heaven's Fall from Polly, instantly broken through. The damage is good, but Nevix is better, and he's got so much to play with. No way the double. Nah, both of them can survive that. Moving away from the lava. VIRTUS.PRO still are yet to lose someone. Citadel are fighting tooth and nail, but this entire time, it's just been all VIRTUS.PRO all the time. There's no blue to be seen, only red that is spilled, and blood is dashed across this Antarctic soil of Hell's Heaven. The Hydra base is stained. The Citadel Gaming safety map is taken away.
VIRTUS.PRO put themselves onto match point in the grand finals. The Adam composition able to come out on top of all of the dive. The pressure from the Venom, from the Psylocke, from even the Angela. Polly did so much work with those Assassin's Lunges, but unfortunately every single time he found a connection, it was onto someone with a movement ability. A lot of the time Nevix, which meant that the Venom was able to simply swing away. And SparkR going down a song title of several times too meant that the Adam had the Karmic Revival, and Citadel Gaming attacking Cloak and Dagger. We don't typically see Cloak and Dagger in compositions. Currently she has some niche levels of value, but one of them is when you're attacking on convoy maps, being able to apply that vulnerability onto those vanguards to instantly take them down. Again, banned out from the storm. Is it going to be the same story? With that damage boost now being removed, as we saw on Midtown, Polly's gone over to the Wolverine, something that we saw previously, that Melio this time starts on the Phoenix and already sets up a huge stun onto 3 bodies.
Nevix dragged on in. You could see already, I think, a Force Physics instantly coming through from Sypeh to try and stop that one from coming on through, or potentially a Mad Cannon from Finnsi. Nevix just comes up fourth to brawl, and they're more than happy to just try and rub their noses into Citadel Gaming and meet them head on head. Polly still has a little bit of room to work with when it comes to that passive.
Melio's got
grabbing in Nevix. Melio gets it done up close and personal. Melio might well have the ultimate to try and work with, but Nevix has been raised behind them. A big surprise in the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier as well, but look at how quickly they carve through the end song Inferno, and then Melio is exposed in the midst of VIRTUS.PRO.
Yeah, SparkR manages to put the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier down, and Melio doesn't interact with it, flying through in time before he gets taken out, which means that VIRTUS.PRO will rebuff the Phoenix. Citadel Gaming yet again have to go back to their spawn and reapproach into all of this fight, but now they have to do so when VIRTUS.PRO have ultimates built up. Magneto's going to have the Meteor M to deal with Tanuki's Galactic Legend, Sypeh the Invisible Boundary to keep up with the Eye of Agamotto damage. It's up to Polly to try and grab the invis side of her ult.
Finnsi grabbed already. Potentially the counter here from Ken. Ready to try and eat up all of this back line. Going to look potentially for Nevix. I think they may have actually opted to go into the back and just give over a little bit more. Ken off the edge, potentially. Not quite sure what's going on over there. Wolverine eaten up solo here by dridro. No stuns gained by Enzo. You saw Nevix draw up a wall to break the LOS from the Eye of Agamotto onto that back line. Big strangling prison. 4 players inside. The stuns are good. 3 souls separated from bodies. And VIRTUS.PRO pulled ever further away from victory, and VIRTUS.PRO decide to carve through Citadel. This is going to be back to the drawing board, surely.
What a strangling prison into Eye of Agamotto follow-up. Citadel Gaming didn't have CC immunity of the Soul Resurgence coming on through. Polly still has that last stand, but the Wolverine is likely going to be pressured. So too is Tanuki on the Star-Lord, as Fi's controlling that angle entirely. Great sedation, but that's going to be broken almost immediately, which brings Sypeh back to the fold, and the Wolverine looks for the Mac, but he's still got the Bulwark.
It's a self-bubble. Sypeh taken down. The Dark Maelstrom's responsible for that one, but guess what? Instant resurrection from the BRB. Finnsi can't quite find the Star-Lord. Ice here onto Polly. Having fallen so low, Fire is isolated, forcing VIRTUS.PRO to back on off. Remember, Fire can TP themselves back in the midst of an emergency, and Nevix might well need that. This is going to be the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier already destroyed. And Ayavagamotto onto just Sypeh this time, but still, it's going to be the TP coming on through rather quickly. SparkR returns.
Ken might be able to find the edge jab as Fire's on the low, but no! The teleport comes through in time, and VIRTUS.PRO get another chance at recontesting.
Well, Fire's already down, and Nevix is isolated elsewhere. Enzo just stands in the doorway, making sure that no one can come on through. One bite to rule them all, and dridro might well have it. Seems it was a miss right there as Melio takes them on down, and Ken is going to make their own play here, giving a little pool of healing on the floor, and potentially grabbing out Finnsi, who seems to have been able to take themselves elsewhere. There's still a little bit of distraction on the cart coming through from VIRTUS.PRO, but in the end, it will be workable for Citadel Gaming. Surely you can't stand up to 6 players laying down their fire, and Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder finally find the objective.
True, but VIRTUS.PRO with just unparalleled aggression run atop of Alex, which means Citadel Gaming don't have the Mantis in a forward position for the Soul Resurgence to take all of the space away from VIRTUS.PRO and snowball into second. Tanuki is going to be in that space with the Galactic Legend, however, and he doesn't have to worry about a Meteor Ram this time around. Does have to worry that VIRTUS.PRO are just going to be able to bait it out and then disengage. But if you're trying to track down where the Star-Lord is, you're not looking at the Wolverine. And Polly deposits Finnsi directly in front of his team, already burning the BRB.
Yeah, big BLB position, though, to at least bring him back fast to be able to capture some of this space in towards the back. The Soul Resurgence is used. Remember, extra movement speed for all of Citadel Gaming. But Fire looks around the back. It's Finnsi going to try and mug for Jeff, who are given a little bit of additional HP. Tanuki takes out dridro and wants even more. Going after Sypeh. No resurrections this time. And now faced with the Venom, is just going to decide to disengage and instead look after Finnsi on the back line. Disengagement on the cards here for the Captain America. And it seems like we're going to get out scot-free.
Look at the amount of objective control they've got here as VIRTUS.PRO have just been forced to disengage. Disengage the Soul Resurgence, disengage the Galactic Legend, and now they don't have ultimates to try and make a play for this high ground hold, which they've been funneled into because of the teleport block coming on through from Enzo. Out comes Galactic Legend from SparkR. Finnsi dropping the Freedom Charge so that VIRTUS.PRO have sustainability on the objective, and Kent is going to look for an Eaton to the back line.
Enzo looking for something, but SparkR's already done too much damage. Fi gonna still commit into this. VIRTUS.PRO have used everything for stability. 3 ultimates expended, and Citadel Gaming have been reduced to tattered rags and ruins.
They held on to the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, though. I'm sure Sypeh is going to drop this the second that Melio uses that End Song Inferno, and it's going to be a race between these two teams to see what exactly is going to be able to find the commitment. Nevix, too, with that Feast of the Abyss for the damage boost, might well be able to find a pick. The dive goes on through the Force Physics, but Nevix is already in the ground. The Eye of Agamemnon doesn't catch him as he comes up from the ult.
Oh, Enzo. Nevix, I believe, might have been temporarily stunned there, but was quickly taken back again. Citadel Gaming used 3 ultimates here to try and deal with just Nevix and Sypeh. I mean, got anything off the back of it. That was going to be down to raw mechanics coming in with the rage generated previously by Polly. They want to try and get on top of Finnsi, and yeah, the damage is there, but is the finish going to be? Indeed, it's Ken with the joyful splash from downtown, and now Nevix is going to be the prime target of the Wolverine, building up towards that. That's a great force physics, but can they finish it off? Yes, Nevix chews through their food, and there's going to be a healing pool to deal with all of this. Enzo can take to the skies, but instead, dridro is just going to be backing off here with a momentary peel and the healing for the remainder of the team. Tanuki's getting desperate in the back. Oh, that's a big symbiote shenanigan, but it's quickly carved on through. Sypeh's not going to be there either. Yes, Tanuki gets traded on out, but I'm going to call that one worth. Nevix doing their best to arrive on the point. A portal not interrupted in time, and the Eloise isn't even there. Ken can't get it through the portal, and Fi's going to arrive on the point just in time. A hero when you needed it, and Fi's erased on through. The rest of VIRTUS.PRO present themselves inside the invisible boundary of Alex, and we don't want to deal with the slows. It's going to be SparkR wrapping elsewhere. Nevix gets resurrected by the BRB. Finnsi stands alone, hopping as best they can with the evasiveness, and it's SparkR on the off angle now with the Galactic Legend, trying to write down in history the names of VIRTUS.PRO. 3 stuns. It's massive here to come on through from the side of a Doctor Strange. Fi separates their souls, and now VIRTUS.PRO discorporate their bodies. VIRTUS.PRO, by an absolute miracle, say that you ain't dridro, you ain't him. We're the bears, and we continue to rise.
The fact that they were able to get through that teleport, didn't get eaten by Jeff, and then managed to burn Citadel Gaming into using Invis Boundary, disengage, hold on to Galactic Legend, use Galactic Legend to leverage better position on the objective, forcing Citadel Gaming to hide in the side rooms, which then meant that they were all set up to get connected onto with the backline from Eye of Agamotto. And off of the back of that, there's absolutely no way that they're going to be able to turn it around. VIRTUS.PRO hold on second.
An absolutely manic push, and Citadel just ran out of steam. VIRTUS.PRO's threat assessment, second to none.
We've never seen this from Citadel Gaming either. Whenever they've gone to Yggdrasil path and they've decided to attack first, because remember, they decided to attack first. They wanted to set the momentum. They wanted to establish that they could play this map, that this was their comfort map for a reason. They've either full pushed or gotten to at least third. The fact that they got stalled so close to the end point of second, that one's gonna hurt.
I mean, look at the differences in, like, eliminations and casualties here as well. Ken is yet to fall, but VIRTUS.PRO are just so good at rotating the pressure on that point. And Fire is always somewhere in the back line. Like, you've got to constantly do some admin.
VIRTUS.PRO now going to be holding. How much time can they burn off the bank? Fires on the Widow, looking for a pick onto one of those players who's out in the open, doesn't manage to find it, swaps over to the Phoenix, the pick that I'm sure will be sticking around for a lot longer. As VIRTUS.PRO have all of that damage and dive. Nevix the Venom, SparkR the Star-Lord, and dridro on the Jeff to heal them from afar.
Citadel playing pretty far back here as well. It's going to give over a lot of space for these duelists to work with. SparkR and Fire rewarded for that as Melio's already fallen. Enzo's made it back towards the back line, and Tanuki's taken down by SparkR with a blaster barrage, not having to rely on the accuracy, just positioning alone. The symbolic shenanigans give SparkR all the time he needs to just roll on forward. He's got so much HP to work with, and there's no one else for Citadel. They've just been outmaneuvered in the neutral.
Yeah, I mean, Enzo went over to the objective to try and stall it because that's all that Citadel really could do. Melio's got to go to the Doctor Strange and portal everybody, but that first fight was so one-sided. The closest ultimate that they're going to have is Invis Boundary, and even that is not immediately there. If SparkR manages to find a huge spin as they all come through the portal, he's going to board Galactic Legend first, and it looks actually like Citadel Gaming, they're going to go for a late portal.
All right, portal comes on through. Fire's got a good angle onto it for now, but they will be able to disengage into the safety of the side room. They start to rotate pressure upon the cart. Nevix already has a Feast of the Abyss, by the way, and as it's going to be an attempted eating coming on through, dridro grabs up their own Venom, I believe, inside of the invisible boundary. It needs to be a dodge away from Alex, and the pressure's not quite there to try and carve through the healing given. Nevix has the extra damage coming through from the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, but the peeling should be good here, at least temporarily, from Ken. Alex and Ken both fall to SparkR, who finally finds their moment to shine, utilizing a Galactic Legend, finds 3 final hits onto 3 strategists. An absolute masterclass from the Star-Lord.
Citadel prioritized going for that portal location so that the backline could be safer inside the side room, and like you said, rotating point presence with a lack of EMEA to punish all of the Vanguards, but it meant that they were denied 3 potential fights and downsides to the 2. And now VIRTUS.PRO have 4 minutes plus to be able to push the convoy to where it's needed and walk away the winner of the EMEA Ignite Stage 2. And they're already putting the pressure onto Enzo, forcing out all of that resources from the Magneto, which means that it's up to Polly to step up to the plate and stall for the team.
70 grand, the first place seed and glory denied previously. They were kept in their cell like Tai Lung. But finally, a battle that might be legendary. It's Nevix in the back trying to get on top of Melio. Fire's already fallen down to Tanuki. The chase down's good from SparkR here to try and find this backline. The dives are so sublime, but Tanuki's blaster barrage is better. And a little bit of rare stability for Citadel.
Yeah, Citadel was split, but half of the team were with Polly, which meant that they had access to the Freedom Charge HP coming on through. Because they won that fight too, they've been able to establish a closer hold for their players to stop pushing damage into VIRTUS.PRO as they come through from choke. They've got to tax as much as they possibly can. They need to burn the time bank. Nevix with that Feast of the Abyss puts the pressure onto Magneto, and immediately Melio with the Dance of the Butterfly sees an opportunity when the team split and looks to start putting the dashes in before the bodies are there. The wouldn't eat onto Enzo since he didn't have the bulwark up. He used it before against Nevix's ultimate. The mag is gone.
Enzo opts not to use the Meteor M, thinking the risk was too great and their health was too low, knowing the potential they could be burned on through while channeling that one. It's Tanuki's turn to try and deal with the cracks in the defense, and now they've just taken so much damage up in the sky. No resurrections this time as Finnsi takes out the battle recall beacon, and with dridro going down, there's a little bit of pressure taken off Citadel.
dridro comes back though. VIRTUS.PRO still think it's winnable. Out comes the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, mirrored by Alex. So far, no other ultimate's going to be committed in this fight. Enzo holding onto the Meteor and a web of SparkR, rapidly approaching that Galactic Legend as Fi swaps over to the Human Torch to put the pressure onto Citadel Gaming. Heat up the main road with things like the Pyro Prison.
Ken is rapidly approaching your location, but Fi comes even faster. A hot drop, a flash fire to fry the wayward shark. Chasing down Melio, he never stood a chance. He was constantly taken out of stealth by the blast, the barrage of SparkR, and now one fight is in it, Mox.
Alex goes down, which means no Rocket BRB to bring the players back. It's up to Polly to use the Freedom Charge and clear onto that objective, stalling out long enough for Citadel Gaming. The respawns are so close. The Captain America on the objective running at the back line, but Fi is controlling every single angle of approach that Citadel could take.
dridro waiting to just try and eat up Enzo, a metallic bulwark. This might be a chance to try and convert here onto dridro, but manages to escape. Now it's SparkR's turn. Takes to the skies. Wants to write the legend. Is going to carve it in blood if he has to. Write it upon the walls of a cell that once held VIRTUS.PRO. Polly can't make it to the point. 1 meter and 40 expended here as VIRTUS.PRO are so close to their victory. It's sweet in their mouth. They can savor the taste. Melio tries to stop it with Finnsi going down. They're so close to taking it, but VIRTUS.PRO are running low on members. They're running low on options. Melio going down is a great start for this one as fires up close and personal. Double damage and even more is laid on down here. A great dodge on the incoming play from a Jeff Falanshar. Ken just has to flee elsewhere. They only got their own teammates, and fire's coming up close and personal. There's more chase coming through. The peel is there from Tanuki, but Finnsi's ready to open a portal and try and make this one finish right here and now. Tanuki with the Galactic Legend. We need to keep an eye on the cart. It's rolled back slightly here and now as Enzo opens up their own portal for reinforcements. 40 seconds remain. A blast of barrage on the 4 members of VIRTUS.PRO. They share up the healing with symbiotic shenanigans are real, and there's still a supernova in the back half as well. Fire's ready to go with it, and dridro's ready to remove any of these vanguards. A jump up in the sky as they wait for the landing of a Captain America. An inhospitable environment. 2 allies are grabbed, 1 enemy 2. It's Enzo with the Eye of Agamotto. He gets nothing off the back of it, and Sypeh raises up the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, but Melio carves on through. It's SparkR's turn now. He takes to the sky. Once more yells out for the legends as Ken's gonna make one of his own right here, trying to eat through all of VIRTUS.PRO. They grab multiple players, and now they need to just get rid of Nevix. In overtime, it's going to be a desperate struggle. SparkR's falling so low, but guess what? dridro's in the back with a joyful splash. The water type. It's going to be so much damage, but Melio's ready to match it all with the feast, and they're going to try carve as well. Polly falling low, and Melio gets nothing. Up close and personal with the Jeff Falanshar, and Polly's back already. They need to get on the point. There's 3 meters in it, Mox. Now Polly stands alone against 5. In comes the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier. A little bit of additional damage, a little bit of additional healing, a little bit of additional cushioning. Tanuki's got both the healers. They're running on borrowed time. The attrition's everything, and now you got to build the Citadel. It's brick by boring brick, but there's nothing to be bored with here. At Citadel, they have carved an absolute mythos on Yggdrasil.
Oh boy, that is the most tense overtime we've ever seen. By the skin of their teeth, quite literally. Citadel complete the hold and prevent VIRTUS.PRO's match point. The swap's coming on through. The Rocket BRB. Melio with the Dance of the Butterflies being able to catch 1. And then the Wolverine with the passive as well as that jump so that you can plateau yourself from the choke onto the objective in case one of your vanguards goes down in the interim of you moving forward. Tanuki getting the damage amplifier coming on through from the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier.
This pick as well, which isn't really what Finnsi's known for, but might soon be.
Citadel Gaming, though, they put stock in having both the Star-Lord and the
window.
Is VIRTUS.PRO going to go for the Angela so that they can full wrap around right side? They've been denied the Venom. However, the Angela is still going to be able to take that angle, but Tanuki should be able to scout it out on that Star-Lord. We can actually see that Nevix is going to be playing from main instead.
Yep, Nevix almost playing like main Vanguard-esque, just making sure all of this space is available. Polly knows that alongside Tanuki, they can keep this Angela at bay to try and open up a little bit of space for the remainder of their team. You can see that Nevix is constantly building up the charge on that weapon to make sure that the poke on Tanuki is substantial. A very safe usage of a blaster barrage here and straight back into cover. Tanuki's just trying his best to play this annoyingly.
Yeah, Tanuki has to deal, though, with Nevix, who's making it really hard for that Starlet to capitalize off of the space created by his Venom. So Galactic Legends building up a little bit slower than we would expect. Dridro already almost having Soul Resurgence up. And we've still got to worry about the Angela in the backline, putting the pressure onto both the Rocket and that Ultron. Out comes the invisible boundary from Citadel. Force Physics trying to pull VIRTUS.PRO into it, but the disengage is directly into the Star-Lord.
Yeah, Finnsi had the perfect popping of the Diamond Form there as well to avoid being pulled in by the Force Physics. CC immunity includes the pulls.
CITADEL Gaming still holding onto that space. Might look for a little bit more, given the fact that Melio has Rage of Ultron, but that CC immunity is going to come in absolutely clutch when it comes to avoiding any presence port for VIRTUS.PRO from Sonic Seduction. SparkR gives up 50% of ult, goes over to the Starlet to put the pressure onto the Star-Lord. There's the Sonic Seduction, emboldened by Soul Resurgence, but Melio has the means to heal it.
Oh, Alex wasn't healed on through, though. Must have fallen through the cracks. Gets quickly revived here by the BRB as Polly looks in towards the backline. Feast of the Abyss. Hunger in his eyes and malice in his heart. Enzo ready to strike on through. The Meteor gets two! Where did they come from? He just sniffs out Sypeh. I smell myself a challenger. I smell myself an upstart. I smell myself a trip to the spawn room.
Oh, and Polly's just going to go aggressive to slow VIRTUS.PRO down. That does mean an opportunity, though, for Sypeh to look for a Force Physics. Interestination from Dridro. SparkR is going to chase after the Venom, but Polly is still going to be able to make it out, and immediately you can see the battery, the ultimate charge going up for Alex so he can build up Invis Boundary and have it. As Fi's moved over to the Human Torch, no pocket from an Ultron or a Luna. Is going to be Guardian Shield Stagger and the Invis Woman team up coming on through so he can try and play against the Venom.
Yeah, he's going to be very vulnerable after using that hot drop to getting shut down by Tanuki. The Galactic Legend going to be hungering for the body of Johnny Storm. As Nevix rolls on up through the high ground, knowing that they can at least force Polly out through raw DPS, and Fire waits for the opening to be made. It's Finnsi going in towards the back. Hot drop has been used. That's a big cooldown that Tanuki's going to be monitoring here as Polly chomps through the back line. In comes a singular target for the Dance of a Butterfly.
Galactic
play from SparkR, but the BRB is still there. Dridro's already down, looking for any of these squishier targets. As the Guardian Shield is raised up in front of the Vanguard, so Tanuki can't really convert on much more than what they've already found. Still down on Dridro. The healing's not going to be sublime. SparkR and Sypeh join the graveyard, and there's no Monster Reborn to be played right here. Instead, it's Monster to be staggered as Nevix is picked apart from all sides.
I was going to say, VIRTUS.PRO need to lose the fight now. They get one other opportunity to try to regroup and make a play for this. Sypeh goes over to the Rocket to have the BRB, but Alex has the invisible boundary. VIRTUS.PRO, because of the time, are soon going to have very little choice but to walk directly into it on the point fight. Melio with the Rage of Ultron is going to slow their approach down even further, forcing the Freedom Charge off of the objective. And Citadel just taxing the ultimates before we turn our attention to the overtime.
Polly takes so much damage right now, but it's going to help to build up towards the next Rage of Ultron. Opening comes through from the side of Nevix. Can't quite grab anyone right now. The Guardian Shield got in the way. A momentary pool of healing left on the floor by Dridro, ready to try and swallow up the opposition, but they're fighting after Tanuki, and they can't catch up to how fast the Star-Lord is. Instead, just grasping their own Vanguard. Polly prepares for a re-engagement. No chance of it being eaten this time as Enzo ascends to the sky. He wishes to reign above it all and lay down the law imperiously upon VIRTUS.PRO. They have sustainability, courtesy of Vasia, and they've also got the respawns coming on through with the help of the portal. Finnsi to the back. They really want Alex. SparkR starts to cut on through again. Alex is going to be the primary target, finishing the ult prematurely, moving over onto Ken. They know that BRB was back there. If they can't interrupt it in time, VIRTUS.PRO, though, they have the performance on the point and get the cap.
Yeah, the Dance of the Butterflies was all about just splitting the strategists from the fight going on the objective with the Vanguards. Didn't even need to find the elimination. VIRTUS.PRO just needed one more tick to be able to find themselves moving into second, and they're able to get it from that split. Now they get to move on to a position, though it's not uncontested. Tanuki on that Star-Lord already there. Polly at his side to make sure that the Star-Lord gets to use the Galactic Legend before VIRTUS.PRO board an ultimate up to stop it.
Polly looks towards the point, is going to make a maneuver towards the back line. Already has to use a symbolic resilience for soft dive. May have made it a little bit of an easier target for Tanuki, but still everyone's managed to scatter effectively from a Galactic Legend channel by Tanuki. And so
the momentum's gone though. VIRTUS.PRO lost the momentum, and now the dive comes through yet again. Melio with the Rage of Ultron is going to continue dispersing VIRTUS.PRO's push so they don't get to use this Emerald ultimate to move forward.
That's going to be Sonic Seduction coming through from the EMEA, noting that the eventual usage of the Rage of Ultron was over, but SparkR was looking for something in the back line and couldn't quite find it. Nevix forced to bring up the shield and also use their own resources to try and get away. Dridro super low. Will get resurrected, of course, by the Battle Recall Beacon, but I think this one might already be too far gone for side of VIRTUS.PRO. Could find themselves staggered in this tiny area.
Oh, yep. They're definitely going to go for it. Forces the Freedom Charge. The fact that Tanuki got the full pocket from the mag bubble. And that means now that the Captain America has to turn and make this work. Runs directly into Citadel Gaming. Forces Ken into burning out that rocket. Cosmic Yawn Amplifier. Does Polly try to go for the damage boost and Feast of the Abyss? Out comes this Jeff, and there goes Dridro with the Meteor Ram.
Unfortunately, also ate the only ally who could possibly have deflected the Meteor Ram in this case. Nevix, yeah, building up the charge, but down on Dridro. VIRTUS.PRO going to be lacking in sustainability, and Finnsi's found that out the hard way. A kick into the wall for Polly, but the punishment only makes him more keen to try and exact revenge on Nevix. Trying to punish for disengage, and they might well do so. Good body block coming through from the Vanguard. Nevix will find himself overwhelmed. The healing's there, but it's not enough.
Alex is taking pressure, though, from somewhere. VIRTUS.PRO are trying to find this pick onto the Invis woman so they can force out Invisible Boundary. Finnsi doesn't have the Freedom Charge either to pay VIRTUS.PRO's approach onto the objective. Citadel Gaming are going to let them walk forward so they can use their ultimates uncontested. Out comes the Galactic Legend. There's the Guardian Shield staggered down to the Butterflies, fully healed through with the Invisible Boundary. And VIRTUS.PRO, they've got the Ensong Inferno, but Harry, there's no other damage afterwards.
Yeah, there's no damage to try and deal with it. SparkR towards the back does not have the healing, does not have the sustainability. A Blaster Barrage is all you need, and the Element Guns to finish it off. Finnsi arrives on the point, a timely manner indeed, but going up against 6, Freedom cannot stand. He might be able to do this all day in his mind, but his body gives out before his mind breaks, and VIRTUS.PRO are held on second.
It was all about the soft dives. Citadel Gaming being able to disperse VIRTUS.PRO. Managing to reclaim go so much more aggressively against VIRTUS.PRO once the Emerald ultimate is finished, and from there they never get the opportunity to recover. Citadel are constantly charging shield, plus the team up armor coming on through from the Phanta Force supplied by Sypeh. They're either going to win with the Human Torch or they're going to lose with the Human Torch, because Tanuki and Melio are going to be looking to challenge that every single time they make a play forward.
Tanuki and Polly waiting out for now. Rocket network ready to go, and Phi noted on the approach. The Guardian Shield already expended. Polly looks to try and get a little bit of an approach elsewhere. Just distribute that attention equally among the dive directions until maybe Melio and Tanuki can make a move together onto Phi. You can see just how evasive he is up on the high ground. Has already popped his team up as well. Gets the bulwark, the full pocket onto the back to keep Phi up. Big force physics to try and stop the disengagement of Polly, and the Carbon Crush as well. Everyone just levies the weapons they have against Polly. Great play from Sypeh and Finnsi to make sure there are no resurrections or no second chances. The resurrections there at least. Sentience grabbed here. A quick push away for Finnsi.
Phi having to reposition, getting fully pressured, not just by the Sword and the Ultron, but by the Venom too for control of Garage. Nevix gets pushed back with the Force Physics. Slowly, VIRTUS.PRO are being pushed back towards Slope, but they're building up ultimates and managing to peel the dive. Turns the attention to deal with the Venom. Out comes the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier from Citadel, sensing an opportunity, and Sypeh has to stop it. The Invisible Boundary comes through, and the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier is burned.
Finnsi really taking this space, though, with 100 charge on the beam. There's going to be a lot of damage to try and deal with. The Rage of Ultron from Melio is counteracted by Finnsi. CC immune, so he can be audacious with their positioning and get rid of the remainder, but Polly finds themselves alone, and the healing wasn't quite delivered, and now you've got to really give away this space to Finnsi because he's just unstoppable with this much charge.
Tanuki is going to have the Galactic Legend. Find the Supernova, definitely going to be the target, but you have to worry about Meteoran being able to absorb it, and either SparkR or Dridro providing the ultimate to keep the Human Torch intact. Polly has to go on through and force something, dives into the backline, has the Feast of the Abyss, looks for the hit, forces out the Supernova and the Soul Resurgence as Enzo uses the Meteor Ram to absorb it.
Okay, a little bit wide right there, Enzo, but hey, it at least deterred Fi for a moment. And Fi getting up close and personal now to Polly, feeling comfortable moving up against that Venom. It seems like Citadel are running low on time already. Half their time bank is gone. There is a Galactic Legend in the back to try and play with. But you got to worry about Nevix's potential counter here with the Meteor M. The backline under siege, and Polly once more is dragged on back. Their control of Polly's dives is sublime.
First tick has been picked up, though, for Citadel Gaming. Out comes the Meteor M to absorb the Rage of Ultron. Tanuki is going to get a free path for Galactic Legend once Dridro's ultimate is done.
Yep, Tanuki has the option, pops the ultimate, looks towards the backline. The invisible boundary already used, and so Tanuki's just going to call this one, knowing that Polly's down. They can't really convert on the damage. They can't burst through the healing that's available. The Cosmic Yarn Amplifier from Ken, even while down on Polly. It's bravery from Citadel here, but it will at least ensure them against the damage coming through from Finnsi. Melio still can't stand up to the damage, and Citadel, they're running low on time, and they're running low on options.
That's why they use the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, because now VirTUS.PRO have control of corner. Fi is going to be able to get so much pressure to build Supernova onto the point objective. Tanuki goes over to the Human Torch off of the Star-Lord. He's going to look to just use the Ultron as well as the pressure that Torch can bring to the Vanguards to give Citadel Gaming any opportunity of establishing themselves on the objective.
Down to 30 seconds.
Polly, patience runs through his veins. But Fi has the fury of the stars within him, the Supernova good to go. As they look towards their counterpart, it's equal trades up in the sky as they play for the positioning. Fi takes themselves there, and Enzo looks for the big bomb. Can't get it off the back of the Meteor M. There's too much pocket going through onto Fi. Polly plays around the peripheries. 5 seconds remain. Into the back with a Feast of the Abyss. They need to carve through the back line of VirTUS.PRO. They rebuff it easily, though, with the Soul Resurgence. It's Melio's turn to return now. They get through the overhealth with ease. They desperately want to take out Spark, and Nevix would also do as a secondary option. Nevix looks towards the sky. The captain has arrived. A Fate of Both Worlds is popped by Alex and dridro in tandem as well. Melio's down. It's Fi to the back, and Ken is isolated. He's so far away from this one, but Sypeh raises up the invisible boundary on top of Citadel. They're too slowed. They can't make it back. Melio's going to have to come on through the portal from elsewhere now, but guess what? Finnsi's got the Sonic Seduction good to go. Melio's going to have to try and cut it off surely when it comes to this, but no one makes it there. VirTUS.PRO, they hold strong on first with the will of stone and the unbreakable determination of an exploding star. They claim themselves EMEA.
A win delayed on Yggdrasil, but cemented on Hall of Djalia. Finnsi walks away with the MVP, but the MVP in that last fight, it's Sypeh. The fact that they were able to hold on to that invis boundary through so much pressure, to have it when we went into the overtime fight after all of the ultimates had been exchanged, and put it onto the objective, finding this low into Citadel Gaming when there was no other ultimate left, to let them hold that position inside it. The Luna ult